Hello my beautiful people and welcome back to my channel. So you guys, first give me this chance to say thank you for subscribing, for watching my videos. I don't take this for granted, you guys. So guys, I found this video on TikTok that I have brought for you guys to your attention. Guys, I am not making this up. First, let's watch this video and we will talk from here.
I do not know how more people are not talking about this crazy shit out of Alabama. Okay, I had a coworker send this to me. You know who you are, thank you. Look at this. Supreme Court rules Alabama's congressional maps violate Voting Rights Act. I can explain, but just watch this.
Turn now to the Supreme Court and the surprise decision on voting rights, finding that Alabama's congressional maps are unfair to black voters. Our senior national correspondent Terry Moran is at the Supreme Court this morning. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Juju. This was a stunning civil rights victory at the conservative-dominated Supreme Court. Chief Justice John Roberts and conservative Justice Brett Kavanaugh siding with the liberals in a congressional redistricting case that many had feared would end up weakening the Voting Rights Act. Instead, in a 5-4 opinion, the court decided that a congressional redistricting map drawn by the Republican-led Alabama state legislature violated the Voting Rights Act because it drew only one district out of 7 where a majority of voters were black, when 1 in 4 or more Alabamians are black. Under this legislature's map, the court found many black voters were packed into one district, many others cracked or splintered into other districts, diluting their influence in elections. And the Chief Justice, in his opinion for the court, writing that the Voting Rights Act does not permit a state to provide some voters less opportunity to participate in the political process. In a fierce dissent, Justice Clarence Thomas said that the approach that Roberts and the liberals took amounted to the proportional allocation of political power on the basis of race. But Roberts said court's just following the law, the Voting Rights Act. And this decision is just going to have a huge political impact, not just in Alabama, but right across the country. It could tip the balance of power in the House of Representatives after the next election. Guys?
Let's start with the positive. This is a huge win for democracy, like huge win, that a conservative voted yes on this, especially with the division in the country right now. But it's because black votes have been suppressed in the state of Alabama because the Republican government decided to break a section of an act of law to suppress black votes. I am at a loss for words for the first time in a long time. This is unbelievable. Okay, they're back. If you need more proof that Clarence Thomas was bought and paid for, here it is, okay? This story should be everywhere. This should be everywhere. Not only is it a victory, but it proves how much racism is alive and well in this country and in our government. Blow it up.
Okay guys, so I'm playing this video so that we celebrate this victory together. I know we've been suspecting that this has been going on for some time, but the good thing is that it's coming out. Yeah, so that is the whole reason I'm playing this video, to celebrate this victory. This is something worth celebrating. Yeah, but please go ahead, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. I have a few clips for you, a few videos concerning this hot topic, guys. So let's just watch the rest of it. Leave your thoughts in the comments section below, and if you have not subscribed, please go ahead, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that every time I upload such videos you will not be left out. Yeah, so guys, let's watch the rest of the videos.
The Alaska Supreme Court issued a landmark decision ruling that partisan gerrymandering violates the state constitution. This ruling will protect against unfair state house and senate districts drawn to favor one political party. Alaska only has 1 congressional seat and district, so there's no concerns about gerrymandering there. In 2019, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in Rucho v. Common Cause that partisan gerrymandering is not an issue suitable for federal courts to review, saying that the matter is for lawmakers and state courts to decide. This decision by the Alaska Supreme Court will give Alaska voters a new, more concrete voting rights protection.
The Supreme Court handed voting rights a major victory yesterday as the justices sided 5-4 with the defendant in a case that related to redrawing congressional maps in the state of Alabama. In the decision that you see behind me, the court ordered the state of Alabama to redraw its congressional district maps, indicating that the current borders violate the rights of African-American citizens in the state of Alabama to vote, as indicated in the Voter Rights Act. According to the court, the maps were drawn in a way that concentrated African-American votes in only one of the 7 districts, therefore diluting the presence of African-American votes in the other 6 districts in a state, Alabama, where over 1 in 4 citizens is African-American. Those maps had been challenged last year in a lower court, which easily decided that the state had violated Section 2 of the Voters' Rights Act, which prohibits voting practices that are designed to discriminate based upon, among other things, race and color. Incidentally, 2 of the 3 judges in that lower court were appointed by Trump. The state of Alabama petitioned the Supreme Court of the United States for a decision, hoping that the heavily conservative bench would decide in their favor, and eventually that case made it up to the Supreme Court and was known as the Allen v. Milligan case. And that is the case we're discussing today that was decided in favor of the defendant and basically forces the state of Alabama to redraw their congressional district maps. What shocked most people, including me, is the fact that Chief Justice Roberts and Justice Kavanaugh both sided with the lower court's decision, stating that, yes, the congressional district borders, as drawn by the Republicans, in fact violated the Voting Rights Act. Justice Thomas, shockingly, but not really, sided with the state of Alabama and wrote a scathing dissenting opinion indicating that the decision essentially violates the Constitution because it forces Alabama to draw districts that allow black voters to obtain a number of congressional seats that are proportional to their presence in the state of Alabama. That logic is, in my opinion, absolutely flawed. The case made in the lower court wasn't about how many congressional seats African-American citizens in the state of Alabama should win. It was whether or not the GOP had drawn those maps in order to specifically push African-American voters into larger, predominantly white districts. And that is known as unconstitutional gerrymandering. Now, what I do find interesting is how Justice Roberts voted, because previously he had voted in favor of cases that made it essentially harder for minorities to use the Voting Rights Act to challenge states' laws that were essentially disenfranchising of their votes. But while this vote is unusual for Justice Roberts and certainly very important for the rights of minorities to make their vote count, this is not a decision that puts an end to disenfranchising laws. And I say that because a statement made by Justice Roberts inside of the decision, Justice Roberts, who's already in previous cases cast doubts on the power of the Voting Rights Act to be used to challenge disenfranchising laws, well, that statement made by Justice Roberts in this decision is really everything I need to read in order to understand that the Supreme Court may not continue to stand up to the GOP's continued attempts at disenfranchising black voters. And that statement is this one right here, page 34 of the decision. And it reads, "The concern that Section 2 may impermissibly elevate race in the allocation of political power within the state is of course not new, and our opinion today does not diminish or disregard these concerns." So basically what Roberts is saying is, yes, we asked in this case Alabama to redraw its congressional district maps, but that doesn't mean that this court feels in any way that the Voting Rights Act has any particular strength against a party decision within a state to redraw its congressional district maps basically however it wants. Ladies and gentlemen, this particular decision is definitely good news for the African-American citizens of Alabama, but don't think for a second that the fight against disenfranchising laws is over.
The Supreme Court recently rejected a voting map that diluted the power of black voters in the state of Alabama. This is an example of Alabama's congressional map, which I've taken directly from Alabama's government website. And you'll see here that they have 7 congressional districts. Pay attention to district number 7. Here's another map of Alabama divided by a congressional district and overlaid by political affiliation. The red tends to be the Republican Party versus the blue is the Democratic Party. This single blue district, district number 7, has a majority black population. Now, as you'll see highlighted above, the Supreme Court ordered Alabama to create a second black majority congressional district because, as the congressional map is currently drawn, the state may be in violation of the Voting Rights Act. So let's take a moment to talk in more detail about what's going on here. My name is Kellen. This is NETMA, or Nobody Ever Tells Me Anything, where we discuss business news and current events. First, let's lay the foundation of the case, and this screenshot comes directly from supremecourt.gov. Here you'll see that the Supreme Court was trying to figure out whether the districting plan violated the Voting Rights Act, because the Voting Rights Act says that the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Remember to keep this map in context. As I've highlighted here, Black Alabamans overwhelmingly vote Democratic. So it makes sense to see that the majority Black district votes for the Democratic Party most of the time. And this is where the math comes in, because Alabama's Black population represents about 26% of all citizens. However, recall that there are 7 districts. 1 divided by 7 is 14%. That 14% is less than the 26% that represents the state's Black population. This suggests that the congressional map created and approved by the state's GOP legislature underrepresents the Black population. A lawsuit was filed bringing the situation to federal court, and a 3-judge panel found that a second Black majority district is required, and that the second district should include the state's Black Belt, which is home to many descendants of enslaved people. The Supreme Court's decision here to uphold the lower court's opinion was a surprise, given that the Supreme Court currently has a conservative lean to it. The decision was 5-4, and you'll see above that Chief Justice John Roberts, as well as Brett Kavanaugh, joined the court's liberals in affirming this decision. One potential outcome here is that we may see a Republican-held congressional seat flip to a Democratic candidate. And this decision extends beyond the borders of Alabama, as it lays the foundation for other map decisions in Texas, Georgia, and Louisiana. One could argue that this example of gerrymandering isn't racism, but simply the GOP consolidating power at the expense of Black people and Democrats. However, either way, it's still not a good look. But I'd like to know what you think. Do you think this was a good decision on behalf of the Supreme Court? Did you find this decision surprising given the conservative lean that the court has and its prior decisions? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you like this sort of content, like and follow for more.
And that's all I had for you guys in today's video. Please leave your thoughts in the comments section below, and if you have not subscribed to this channel, guys, go ahead, subscribe. You've got no idea what you are missing out, you guys. Subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that every time I upload such videos you will be notified. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.